It's nearly here. Nearly here. And I'm not talking the international break. I'm on about that fat guy with a big sack. Father Christmas. 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and 3 pissed off clarets on YouTube. Yeah, so it went something like that. However, how are we? Hopefully you feel like Joey and you've slept. Some of us haven't. Some of us have had nightmares, felt like absolute shit. We know what football's like. When you're passionate fans, it really tugs on the heartstrings. It puts a downer on your weekend. You try not to let it, but it's the performance for me. We're going to review it. It's the West Ham game. If you were there during the watch long, I think you could see how animated I was. I was effing and jeffing and already basically giving myself the answer as to why I've not received that nod from Phil Bird. um, so yeah, it was interesting. As normal, as it's become a bit of a normality, I've got these 2 gorgeous buggers with me. Joey and Dan are back in the building, their own buildings, but yeah.
How are you? It's high up here, isn't it, Dan?
I know, you should be having a nosebleed. We've had a change. But no, I'm liking the chummery kit.
Yeah, unashamedly advertising them tonight. Unashamedly.
Why not? There'll be another one there soon with this.
Hopefully so, yeah. Soon enough,
point.
anyway.
Hopefully. Dan, how are you?
Trying to come down. It's not working very well. I think my girls will be telling you that. Yeah. But we're here, boys. We're here. We'll get it out our systems and we'll move on and beat Chelsea. But that's later in the game.
Why not? Why not? We've done it before. When it didn't we beat them 1-0 with Scott Arfield? Sure, we beat them 1-0. Scott Arfield with a rocket from outside at box. Not sure. Let us know in the chat if somebody does remember that.
I remember Robbie Brady's story, but that weren't 1-0.
Scott Arfield. What's a Scott Arfield? Been in Ireland too long, Joey. Are you saying Arfield or Scott's Airfield? What you know? Right, let's talk about it then. Joey, you watched the first half. You've seen the highlights of the second half. If anything, like I said off camera, you are the lucky bugger because you only got to basically see us get a point.
Yeah, I saw us get a point. I don't see everyone's problem. It wasn't too bad. Great what I saw, and then I fell asleep. Completely missed second half. But I have watched the highlights. Yeah. So, like I say, I can only really go off first half and the highlights. I don't know how we went from completely controlling the game. I think there were a good 20-minute spell that West Ham barely touched ball. We were moving them side to side. How we went from that and being 1-0 up to, ending up 3-1 down. I know a couple of mistakes from Dubravka. I think we can probably let him off, though, given what he's done previous to that. And obviously Walker was, I don't know what he was doing when he was playing them all onside. That was mental. Complete lapse to his arm up, playing them all 3 yards onside. I don't get it. What do you think, Dan, someone who actually watched it? I know you're probably itching to say something.
I was itching to try and come off the stream when it went to 3-1. I thought, I'm done with this shit. I want it. I want to go. I want to go somewhere else. I want to smother myself with a pillow and pretend this never happened. It was shocking, wasn't it, Dan?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I thought you were muted for a minute then.
Words. Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. I was watching it thinking it's not happening. Surely it's not happening. Look, silly mistakes on the goals. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's Zian Fleming having a really good game. Really good game. Bang on it. I mean, a striker that was, 1 minute putting us in front and the next minute defending at the back with us.
Yeah.
And so he takes him off. So he takes him off. I mean, just completely and utterly lost. And we said off air before, boys. My opinion is we can sit here and we can berate lots and lots of the players. Walker for playing onside and Dubravka for making silly mistakes. But look, come on, what did Parker do? What did Parker do? Because to me, that is on Scott Parker, and I think his comments after the game, to be fair, showed he knew it.
Yeah.
Genuinely think he knows that he didn't help that at all. So,
I mean, before a ball were kicked, Joey, we were looking at that team lineup in our chat, weren't we? And we were all saying he must have listened to what we were saying. He dropped the back
Yeah.
five. Everything sort of seemed to look like brilliant.
It looks rosy,
This is
doesn't
gonna
it?
go our way. Yeah, all the signs looked positive. And then, like you say, it's just I don't understand how you can tactically start a game perfectly and then just absolutely capitulate, especially after going 1-0 up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I say, Scott Parker's got to take the responsibility for that result based on what you guys have told me, especially with the changes. But it's a mentality thing, isn't it? And that mentality that you're showing at that stage breeds onto the players based on what you're telling them anyway. So if he's got flummoxed at the sidelines and relayed that onto the pitch, I don't know what happened, to be honest with you. It was unlike Burnley, that's for sure. 9 times out of 10, Burnley go 1-0 up. What are you thinking? Well, we've got this game now.
Yeah.
You fancy us at 1-0 up against most teams. So,
No, you do. You do. The first goal, then, again, I think probably something from nothing. We were knocking on the door a little bit, but I wasn't expecting it. I think West Ham's defence were very slow to react. They were almost just watching how that ball came about. I think it was Chowner played it to Walker, was it? And then did Walker cross it in?
I'm not sure if it was Walker who put it in, to be honest with you. But
Um,
great header, though. Textbook header. Plenty of
it
power
was
behind it
solid.
and low back across keeper. Just textbook. Like you say, he got the space there. The defender's definitely switched off.
Yeah.
yeah, the assist was Ugachuku. It was
Oh,
Ugachuku
yeah.
that put it in. Absolute perfectly flighted ball, wasn't it? Absolutely perfectly. He looks up and he gets it over lovely.
Yeah. You know, the one
Textbook
positive
stuff.
that I had to look at from that game during the watch along was when Florentino Luis went down and he had that bandage around his head. It's the only way I could tell the difference between him and fucking Jaden Anthony. So when I'm trying to dissect the game, I'm like, Anthony, oh no, that's Florentino Luis. And then as soon as bandage came around, I'm like, yes, get in.
Oh, brilliant.
Perfect. But couple of people in the chat. Darcy's in. Darcy's in, Dan. You want to say hello to your little girl?
She's there somewhere. There's my hand. There it is.
I wondered what you were doing then, Dan. I really did.
Kate's in. She's also upstairs. Hey to yourself. Ducky's in as well. This is hiya, pal. We beat Chelsea 3-2 at Stamford Bridge, mate, but not beat them in the Premier League at the turf. The game Arfield scored against Chelsea, we lost 3-1. Shit, yeah, we did. I think we went 1-0 up, and that's the one. I think is that the same game that was?
Scored too early.
I think it's the one where it was that 1-2 with Fabregas, and he scores at the other end.
Goal, oh, a great goal.
That were a good goal. Yeah, I think it was that game. But yeah, hopefully we can get a good result. This one is going to hurt the players. Hello to your good self. Hope you're well. Like I said, for me, I'd like to hope that this international break's come a good time for us to sort of regroup. We've had the Arsenal game between, obviously, this game. We had the 2 wins before. We can't be letting our heads drop now, can we, Dan?
No, but there was worrying signs last night. I mean, when you see Fleming's interview, I don't know whether a break's good, boys. Fleming said himself he just wanted to get back out there. he wanted to make up for what had happened, and it wasn't even his fault. He was took off. So I worry a little bit about the break. I think some of these lads need to stay back and need to actually work on what went wrong and what needs sorting. And they're not going to get that. They're going to go away. They're going to come back. They're going to have 24 hours, bit of a chat, and then they're playing Chelsea.
Yeah.
But it can work both ways, can't it? We've all got experience of international break. Sometimes you think, we didn't need that. We'll come back and we'll beat Chelsea. And then other times you take that break, you come back, and you get beat when you shouldn't have done. So,
and speaking of getting beat, Joey, that their first goal. I know we as Burnley fans have been screaming out for a number 9. It's the, prior to that, we were screaming for a left back for 6 years. Then we get one with the quality of Hartman, and it's like, right, a decent number 9. It's why we kept hold of Rodriguez for so long. Finding a number 9 in this day and age in football is huge.
Mm-hmm.
However, when defending a corner or anything, you do not, I repeat, do not let the most clinical man who's meant to be in that position, who is a natural goal scorer, a poacher like Callum Wilson, just be free as a bird at the back to just stick it in like that.
Yeah.
Comical defending for the first goal.
Shit, to be honest with you. There's no other way to put it. Again, I think we mentioned it from game before. They were flat-footed and stood about, looking like the Arsenal game, where Arsenal are 5 at back, and they were flat-footed, stood about, more concentrating on not even sure what, to be honest with you, than what's going on around them. And it seemed exactly the same. Very, very just flat. No movement, no awareness. Just shocking. Surely they can't be being coached that. They can't be.
It's mad, isn't it, Dan, to think that we've gone from being a team so resilient on built on defence. We knew it were going to be a big jump up in the Premier League, but even in the Premier League over the years, we have managed to still be resilient from set pieces defensively. What is it for you? Like, what can you see as a fan that needs to change when from a set piece perspective?
I think that's half the problem. I think when you're actually watching live, you sort of sit and watch the free kicks about to come in, the corners about to come in, and we don't look like we don't know what we're doing. We generally, I mean, let's not go back to Arsenal. That's different.
Yeah.
That they do corners like nobody else in the Premier League. For some reason, I'd love to see us try it. Why not? But we put men at the back post. We cover. We give Dubravka cover. We tussle. We move. And it just doesn't seem to be working. I mean, going back to that first goal quickly, we've got. I mean, it goes through 2 players' legs. 2
Yeah.
players' legs. I
Doesn't
mean,
it take a nick off
to
a
me,
Steph
that
as well?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it goes through, and I can't remember who it was. It goes through number 3, I think. So that's got to be Hartman, is it?
Yeah.
Goes through first pair of legs, hits Steves as it goes through his pair of legs, and then probably more shocking than anything to me is Kyle Walker, who, when you look from the sort of goal scorer's point of view, Callum Wilson's come in and Walker stood just to the side of him, as if, where's he come from? Well, Walker, of all people, should have seen Wilson there, should have been ready for him coming in. And he's just not there. It's just not there. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm finding it easier to look at open play, boys, at the moment and see where we're going wrong in open play than I am in actually working out what on earth we're doing as a defence. I just can't work that one out.
Yeah, it's mad to think that we've had. I mean, this sort of was coming in the Wolves game. I think personally, even if we'd have not had the Arsenal game between, I reckon we still would have had this exact same scenario if this game were played then. You could see in the Wolves game that after going 1-0 up, or 2-0 up even, we ended up starting to, take our foot off the gas. it's almost like, and I said it off camera to you guys, and what I remember is a couple of seasons back, we were under a different manager, but we went 1-0 up at Goodison Park, and a mad 15 minutes later, we were 3-1 down, 2-1 down, something like that, and we lost the game. And we was on top of that game up until we scored. It was the same again in the West Ham fixture. We go 1-0 up, and then I think I remember 5 minutes later, we've got 11 men behind the ball. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is this? Like, what is actually going on? Like, you have literally just took the game to them. They don't look like they want it. They look like they're trying to work us out. We're trying to work them out, and we've gone 1-0 up. Try and do that again. Keep that momentum going. And we just did not. We let them press on us.
Yeah,
And
we
it's
invited it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sickening to concede so close to half time as well. I mean, I get Parker. I even said it in the watch along. His half time team talk is going to be completely different to what it was 5 minutes ago. But we kept making them mistakes throughout the game. Tactically, just wrong.
We just don't seem to have the ability to kill a game off. We either need to get that first goal, get the second goal, and then go for the jugular. But Parker won't let us do it.
No, he tends to
Yeah,
see
but
it as more
Company
manage
didn't
the
either,
game and
though.
see it out, doesn't he? Or he
Company
tries
didn't
to.
either at the start. I think Company would go 3-0 up against the side and then sit everybody back. And then look how that cost us. Remember that game against Blackpool? You can't keep sitting back. There's a reason that teams like City, like Liverpool, like Arsenal and stuff keep going until the 90th minute. If that tactic is
That's
working,
the difference between game management and sitting back, though, isn't it? Surely. If you
I'd like
sit
to
back,
think
you're
so.
inviting the pressure. If you carry on with your game, keep control of that ball, you're in control of that game. So that's managing the game, surely.
Yeah.
Which is what they should be doing rather than, like you say, sitting back, inviting the pressure. 2-0 is a rough scoreline anyway, because at 2-0
Yeah,
you
it is.
concede one and it's anyone's game. In it at 2-1, you may as well be at 2 apiece. So
the thing that gets me with it is how we what was the word I was going to use? Other than shit. What other? I can't remember what it were I was going to say now, but it was we didn't deserve anything. Again, there's so many similarities to games this year. Look at that first 15 minutes against Aston Villa. We were brilliant, and then it went tits up. We start this game brilliantly. It went tits up. Now, I'm not going to slag Dubravka because he has kept us in many games. If it wasn't for that pivotal save against Wolves, but I put it out on socials, it's that curse of winning an award. I don't know what it is. You get manager of the month, all of a sudden it goes shit. You get save of the month, it goes to shit.
good job we didn't get goal of the month anyway, because that went to shit.
Well, yeah. We would have got beat 3 or 4 now then. I think I saw somebody put a tweet out actually saying, I'm not calling for Parker's head, but having a man who wears his heart on his sleeve all season isn't going to keep you up. You need somebody who's got the man management. It's all well and good giving that team talk or giving, the sort of, we've seen him how he's very passionate in what he says.
Mm.
But during a game, we see him, saying, right, no, you need 2 in here and all that crap and giving it all that. But
So where would you go? Because let's look at our last 3 managers. They're all completely different.
oh, I wouldn't swap. I wouldn't swap
No,
Parker.
I'm not saying,
I just think there is certain things that he needs to learn. Still,
yeah, of course.
I think he has learned a lot, over his time. Look, and he has been a lot better than Vincent Kompany. But I think throughout a career, it's same way when you're playing, isn't it? You're learning with every match day. He's learning as a manager from every match
That's
day.
it, yeah.
And that's the one thing I want to tell people in the chat or when they watch this back is we're not sitting here slating Parker's character or who he is based on a whole. We're talking about this game in general. This game in general is where we saw some of the inabilities of Parker's management, how he tactically, the substitute. We all kept saying, oh, he's not going to change it till about 60 odd, 70th minute. And then when he does change it, the subs were fucking stupid. I called it, and I'll say it again. It was basically like playing a League Two side, and we've gone right. Well, these, I'm surprised Delquois didn't even come on, and he's not even in 25. Honestly, it was like he was trying to just give them a little bit of
I don't
game
know.
time. Why did you swap Hartman for Pires? Why have you gone for a left back for a left back? Why have you not took that left back off, gone to a back three, and stuck fucking Foster on? But he didn't. He's not thinking about winning the game. It was the same against Forest at the turf. I feel like I'm being so negative, and there's probably going to be fans in here that are like, "Shut up, you ginger dick." But I'm being serious though. It's so frustrating. The games that we could have got points in, and we decided to, not even look like a team wanting to attack. I'm not even going to mention their second goal, Dan. To be fair, because their second goal was a carbon copy of the fucking first one. So it's exactly the same shit of someone leaving somebody free at the back, and their substitutions just paid off. Their subs worked, and ours played into their hands. Everything West Ham did, we were like, all right, what's your next move? Oh, well, we're going to go down this side. Okay, feel free. Go do what you need to do.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, Dan, because their substitution, remember, was forced. Their first one.
Yeah.
So Suchek comes on. It was forced because Potts was taken off. Not nothing to do with a tactical move or genius substitution. Far from it. Looking back, it's like you say, you're 1-1. You're hitting 67 minutes at 1-1. At that point, I can remember a mate of mine messaging, he's not a Burnley fan, and saying he was watching Come On Burnley, and I was like, this isn't good. This is not good. We all knew it wasn't good and we needed a change.
Yeah.
But let's be honest, the change we needed, he just didn't do. He just didn't do. Everybody could see. I've not seen one fan say he made the right move by leaving Jadon Anthony on. Not one fan.
No.
He made the right move by bringing Brozier on. What a fantastic sub that was, because Fleming, was rubbish. He was doing nothing. Nothing makes sense. And I think that's what we're looking at. I think we're saying, look, who is it that, in the week, or was it the day before or something, there was an article in the Burnley Express. I didn't see the actual interview myself with Parker, and his exact words were, I'm hurting that Marcus Edwards is not getting game time. That was his exact words.
Yeah.
Parker, I'm hurting. Well, he obviously ain't hurting that much because not only does he keep playing his golden boy, who's been beyond atrocious for the last 4 or 5 games, but when he gets the opportunity to bring Edwards on, he brings Brun Larson on. And not only that, but he replaces Chuana, who had been having an okay game. He'd been getting tackles in, touches in, crosses in. He'd been doing okay. So I don't know. This is when fans get frustrated, isn't it? Because you sort of think, well, if I was in the dressing room, I'd be so hacked off. I'd be saying, hang on. If I was Marcus Edwards, I'd be saying, come January, I'm gone. I'm
Yeah.
gone. Because I'm sitting here watching for 81 minutes until he gets to come on. Absolute dire wingers doing nothing. Literally nothing. Chuana, like I say, didn't have a bad game. First game, proper game, wasn't it? First full on, start and so on. But, how must he feel? And I saw a comment on Twitter saying, is that dressing room going to maintain its togetherness and its camaraderie if you've got good players who not so long ago were playing in other leagues around Europe at top class football, sitting on a bench watching Jadon Anthony not even be able to pass half the time, get his pass wrong, So yeah,
He's
really,
took things out of his game though as well. He used to like to try and take people on or try and cut inside, and it's like he's scared to do it. What did we see under Cottrell for a while? We had players like Wade Elliott bombing down the wing. What did he start doing? Started cutting inside or trying to go to middle at Park, and then we've got this big gap on the right hand side where he just wasn't there. Why do these people seem to think it's all right to nullify something? It was just people were asking the same thing under Dash with Maxwell Cornet. Oh yeah, he's got all this free roam at the minute, but it wouldn't surprise me if in the next couple of games he starts reining him in and reining him back a little bit. We can't keep doing this. Something's got to give. And speaking of give, Szoboszlai got booked and it finished over 2.5 goals. So hey, finally I've had a winner.
Happy days.
Get in. But no, let's see what people are saying. I mean, does sit there. I think Hartman is my favourite player. I've got to agree. I'd put Hartman up there. I signed him for Burnley on Football Manager about 4 or 5 years ago. So when it actually came about that we'd signed Quillency Hartman, I was like, yes, I knew it. I knew I should have been a scout. And it paid off. But no, I also agree with Mac's comment. Cullen just seems to get better. He's like a fine wine. I thought giving him the captaincy this season would have been, a bit of a burden to him because it takes away his game. He's having to watch everything else. But he's took it on leaps and bounds. Mac also goes to say about Parker, this line of the manager needs to learn doesn't really wash with me. You don't need to be a manager in the league to learn. Even when they're not in a job, I'm sure they all watch Premier League games, so you know what to expect from various teams. Which is rightly so. They won't just watch the last game that the opposition have played. They'll watch the last 2 or 3 to see how they set up differently, to see how they react to certain situations, going 1-0 down, etc. How do they then try and counter on that? And then
The
says,
whole team doing that, don't they, these days?
well, yeah, that's what I mean. Half of the time now, being a footballer is like being back at school. They sat in a room, they're watching something,
Watching.
watching, reanalyzing things and stuff like that. It's, I don't know. He says there, Dan, you touched on it yesterday. I wonder if some of the players would have had a bit of a pop in the dressing room after that game. It would not surprise me. I did say that yesterday. I said, look at that, keeping the faith, or mission to Burnley, where it shows the players having a pop at each other.
Bombs.
It wouldn't surprise me if we sort of have that again. It's devastating and frustrating, is this? It's like you say, we've now got to live with this result for the next 2 weeks. We know we're expecting not really anything from the Chelsea game. If we do, it's almost brilliant. But I look at the teams that, we're beating Sunderland this year. Look at the way they have set up. They've gone out attacking against Arsenal. They've managed to get a point. It's things like that really frustrate the hell out of me. And yes, we've worked on the core value of get the basics right. As long as we defend right, everything else should work well up front.
But we're not doing that.
But we're not.
That's if you're not doing your basics, you're screwed from the offset. If you can't get your basics right, surely.
No. I want to give a shout out, Joey, as well. I'll come to you with this. Hannibal. I feel like obviously the situation that's come about with that Osmajic, he's not let it get to him. He's not let, last couple of games, he looks like he's really knuckled down and focused. And obviously, some will say it wasn't an assist because obviously he had a shot for our second goal. But yeah, a bit of kudos to Hannibal for even trying to take the shot on from there.
Definitely, yeah, I like him. As you know, I've made no secret about it. I do like Hannibal. I like what he's about. I like his intensity. As soon as he comes on, he wants to get stuck in. Okay, he's a bit of a live wire, but you need that. I think that's the main key with Hannibal, just controlling him that little bit. but not too much. Because, like you say, it's easy to try and rein players in a bit and do it too much. And there's a big risk of doing that with him. But, as long as he just don't get a red card every couple of weeks, he's definitely got the ability. I like him, I do. I'd like to see more of him.
Same. I mean, Dan, you've just, unfortunately, before we went live, watched the goals back for your sins. So thank you for doing that for all of us. What sort of things did you see in there that were the main issues for you on the basis of it?
I think what it comes down to is from the point of view of when you're 1-0 and or even 2-0 if we go back to the Wolves game, we don't seem to, compared to last season, be interested in attacking up the left. So we're going to have to blame Anthony here. Apart from the fact that he genuinely does seem to have lost any confidence, any swagger, any strength, even fitness. I mean, I looked at him a few times yesterday and thought he didn't even look fit because he didn't even try, he didn't even run at balls. He didn't, the Anthony we saw last season, sometimes you thought he was going to die on the pitch. He ran his legs off. Well, yesterday he just didn't. Now, you can't blame Anthony for 11 players on a pitch, but when you've got one or two in the Premier League in your first 11 doing that makes all the difference. It's not the Championship. You can't carry anybody. So for me, yeah, you've got to look at Anthony. You mentioned Hannibal. I thought yesterday he came on and I thought, do you know what? We're losing. And do you know how he kept his head? But in a way, I was a bit concerned because I'm used to Hannibal coming on and really being on fire, really being fired
ruffling
up
feathers and shit.
and and kicking everybody and saying, "Come on, this is not good enough. This is not good enough." But he didn't. He didn't. And I mean, for me, at the moment, how he can keep playing Jaden Anthony and how he can't make his mind up who plays on the right. So, we go from JBL to, was it Ugachukwu we had against Arsenal or something like that. And then he goes back to JBL and then he's brought Chuana in. And then he changes Chuana instead of Anthony. We seem to have a problem with the wings, with the forward play, in my opinion. Okay, yes, we all know where we are with defence, but look, they're young. They're really young. I mean, I don't know how they relate to other centre halves in the Premier League, but we've got two very young centre halves in there, and that's always going to be a problem. Yeah, it's always going to be a problem, isn't it? So to me, yeah, we've got two very young centre halves who may be under pressure are struggling, and we've got two wingers, a position there on left and right wing that just doesn't seem to be being used. Is he not using it? Is his tactics to stay inside all the time? I'm not quite sure because some of the goals we've had, as with Ugachukwu, have come from the wing. Their balls into the box.
So that said, Joey, Marcus Edwards straight swap deal for Nathan Teller in January.
I don't think anyone would say no to that, would they? Let's be fair.
Oh, mate, I'd swap both testicles for for Nathan Teller to be at the club.
Yeah, it's just a pipe dream, that, mate. I think.
Yeah, it is.
We all need dreams, don't we?
We
just
do.
What you're saying there about wingers, Dan, and I agree with not using them as wingers. But then, if you're going to use them as wingers, you can't have your fullbacks. You can't have Walker and Hartman bombing down the line. Also,
no. But then, yet again, when we get forward, we're not getting forward in numbers.
no.
I think there was 2 or 3 times in that game where I thought, "Oh my God, we can counter here," and it was like 5 against 2.
Yeah.
And I was just like, for God's sake, here we go. And we're having to then cut back and hope that we can get players involved. Defensively, they knew what they had to do. They knew they had to stay back because they can see that recently we've tried to get on the counter and punish teams that way. And, we keep shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Max says it there. I can't make my mind up about Hannibal. On one hand, he'll get stuck in, put his foot in and more in, which is what you want. But on the other, he can lose his head, which does no favours. And yeah, you don't know what Hannibal you're going to get from one match day to the other, which is a real,
Bit of a gamble, innit?
yeah, it's up
Imagine
there
having to
with
train with
Burnley
him
back
every
in
day.
days. Oh, could you imagine? I don't know whether I'm going to get hurt today, boys. Hannibal's in. He's been in since 9 o'clock.
It's already warmed up.
It is. I mean, Dan, you saw some stats. How did we look compared to West Ham based on them?
Well, it's interesting because one of the players recently that's taken a lot of criticism in different areas is sorry, just pulling it up, boys. Should have been more ready there, Dan.
Pardon?
You caught me unawares. Is Florentino, who I saw on another podcast. Sorry, I do listen to others, but they're not available to anybody else to listen. Only Turf Moorhouse is available to anybody else. But they picked up a particularly good point that Florentino didn't seem recently to be much in the game, but actually, is it because Cullen's being pushed forward and pulling the strings more, and Florentino's doing that role that we used to wonder what Cullen was doing? Do you know what I mean? When Cullen used to be, he was the industrious, quiet one that nobody really noticed. And
Well, we
it's
used to
funny
say
you
the
said
same
about
about
his head injury.
George Boyd as well, didn't we? George Boyd was one of those
Yeah,
that didn't really get the plaudits, but he was doing all the donkey work and
that's
pulling
right.
players out of position to give you that chance
Yeah.
to get that. And you know what? That's what you want from someone like Florentino. So yeah, sorry for putting in there, but go on, carry on.
No, not at all. So, like you said, it's really interesting because he gets a bandage on his head, and all of a sudden, you can't miss seeing Florentino getting his foot in. And it's interesting when you look at the stats that out of the top one, two, three, four, out of the top 7 players who put any tackles in, you're going to love this. 9 tackles from Florentino. The next to him was Hartman, who put 2 tackles in.
Oh
I
wow.
mean, I mean, the rest of the team have all put like odd tackles in. That's it, literally. Compared to, interestingly enough, Paqueta, Fernandez, and Potts, who've all put 3 tackles each in. So who was working harder across the whole team for each other? We were leaving Florentino, by the looks of it, to not even noticeably put his foot in more than anybody. So that was an interesting one. And I mean, apart from that, and I'm going to mention somebody that I don't like to mention too often, and that's for respectful reasons, and that's a certain Mr. Sean Dyche. We had more possession yesterday than we've had in goodness knows how long. We had more possession than West Ham. And just under Dyche, if you remember, if we had possession, we rarely won a game.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
rarely won a game with possession. With
Yeah.
Dyche, we always had the worst possession and we'd go and nick it 1-0. We'd go and win it 2-0. Parker yesterday, I think, got caught out. I think West Ham was so poor that the lads didn't know what to do. We had too much possession, too much passing around, too much, and maybe just got a bit caught out.
Would you say
That's a
too much
different take
respect
on it.
from Parker on a former side as well? We said that in the preview, didn't we? That Parker was coming up against a former side. Do you feel like there was a level of he gave them too much respect?
I wouldn't say give him too much respect because we seemed to go for it at the start. So I don't. And he put a team out that arguably we all wanted, and we would have
Yeah.
expected to have gone out and put 2-3 past them quite easily. And Cullen certainly gave him no respect. I mean, Cullen was
Well, yeah.
his fantastic self. So I don't think it was that, Dan. But yeah, who knows? Who knows?
No, I mean, Joey, the game as a whole, it's not going to. We can say it now because we're not even at the halfway point. There's another 8 games before we're at the halfway point of the season. And we said it off camera. Apart from Chelsea, it's the teams that are around mid-table, which we'd be hoping to at least give really strong, solid games to, whether home or away.
Yeah.
it's not going to define our season, but we need to be getting these points against the teams in and around us. Like I say, if it wasn't for Cullen shortening the deficit, we'd have been level on goal difference, level on points.
We'd have been in relegation zone, wouldn't we, on head to head, I think.
No, I think we just stayed out of it.
Did we?
Yeah, we just stayed out of it.
Or would we?
But
yeah, I had a look out of interest, boys. I had a look when it was what was it, 3-1, wasn't it? We were literally level on goals, goal difference.
Yeah.
But we were still clinging on in fourth. Now, whether that was because we're B and they're W, or whether it's because we've scored more or let in less, but the goal difference was bang on equal at 3-1. So, yeah.
yeah, we're poor. Poor. Max says there can't get much more respect than handing them the game. They were there for the taking yesterday. Should have had people running through the channels, fullbacks on the overlap, etc., and giving them such a massive headache. But all it did was give fans a headache. Probably wrap this up. Is it one that we obviously pissed off in the manner of which way we lost it, but a bad day at the office?
Yeah. Yeah. You probably got to give a little bit of credit to West Ham for the way they reacted and the substitutions that they made. Like you said, that I think that was a bit of a difference.
I respect Nuno for what he said. I think Nuno said afterwards that they actually expected nothing out of it. At 1-0 down, he already pretty much thought the game's not in our favour. We need a bit of luck. And they rode their luck.
But they got a bit of luck as well, didn't they, to be fair?
Yeah.
Literally handed to them from Dubravka. So,
it's like just literally like an El Matador with sheet in it. It's like, there you go. There's an open opportunity there. There you go.
Don't want to push it too far here. Just there you go. How's that? And Carl Walker leaving Walker Peters. Oh, off you go. Get ahead of me. Go on. I think at one point, get in.
When you come up and you see Walker score and you realise it's not the right Walker, you laugh. Fuck's Chelsea next, boys. Obviously, international break. Not really, it's.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a great deal to get excited for, then, is there, for a couple of weeks?
No, and even when
Chelsea
domestic
game, well,
football is back, Chelsea. I mean, we've got Chelsea and Brentford to see us through November now.
Listen, we'll all be expecting 3 points again by Chelsea game. You know what we're like. We're Burnley fans.
Yeah.
And then go and get battered and slag them off again, because it's just what we do. We convince ourselves we're world beaters from game to game. No matter how bad we've played, we convince ourselves that next game we are world beaters. At least I do.
Well, if you watch that game, that second half against West Ham, Joe, you'll realise we can't beat an egg, mate. And when I say that, I mean man and Dan's head. Max says Chelsea very much up and down, so anything could happen. Yeah, I said that the other day as well. I said that you don't know what Chelsea you're going to get.
What Chelsea team's going to turn up, and they're good for a red card, just for bets.
Yeah.
So we've got red card for Chelsea, 4 or more tackles for Florentino Luis. What did he get? Did you say, Dan? 8?
Yeah.
9.
Oh, 9. Yeah.
Get some good odds for 4 or more, won't
you? Yeah.
Building these up.
I think we need to look up, not down. I think there's some really dodgy teams out there, and I just, look. We were saying the other day how great it is that what we're doing is we're beating or drawing. We beat Wolves, we drew with Forest at the time, we beat Leeds United, we beat Sunderland when we had the chance. Not that they really count that much anymore, but obviously in a way that's top 6 side we've beaten now. But I'm looking this afternoon and I'm thinking, look, Leeds have messed up big time. Leeds have messed up arguably worse than we have. Fulham, Fulham have only won 1 in 5. Newcastle, messed up again. So yeah, I think we're still okay.
Is that the first time we'll have done Newcastle, like in terms of a team that we play twice in 1 month? Because I think we played Newcastle at the start of December and the last game of December as well. It's something stupid. Yeah, 6th of the December at St James's Park, and then 30th of December at the Turf.
And you see, on current form, you'd have to say, look, why should we not be getting 4 points from those two games?
Yeah,
I know it's Newcastle, but look at what they've been doing. Look at who they've been playing.
In December,
like
they won't be
Max
playing
just-
Champions League games. So that's just typical Burnley, isn't it? That's why we've got them twice in December.
the thing is, though, as well in
Well-
December, it's going to be a lot of teams now. We've seen the foreign contingents in the Premier League, aren't we? There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be weaker due to players going to AFCON. So
we'll lose Hannibal.
Yeah.
Where's the fire in the belly then?
We'll lose Hannibal. I think we'll lose Tuenzebe, Foster.
Yeah.
When's AFCON, sorry, boys?
Foster's not much of a loss, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's between December and Jan sort of area.
Yeah.
And then we get them back. But, tomato, I think we're one of the sides that, okay, we'll be missing one or two.
I think Sunderland will be missing about 6 or 7.
Yeah. They've got quite a good sort of African contingent.
Yeah.
Anthony, hope you're well. Hope all is good with yourself. Max says Newcastle were quite poor today. I can't lie, the only game I watched, well, 2 games I've watched, the City, Liverpool second half, and I watched Forest Leeds.
I was
keeping a beady eye on it. That said, thank you very much for coming on again, you two. I hope it's been one that we can, like they say in football, we park it and we move on now to the next one. It's just.
Can I give you some, Dan? Can I give everybody some to?
Hey, fair play for his predictions. He got it right again.
Yeah. Do you know what? The one thing I was going to say to you, actually, Dan, right? You predicted us to get beat by Arsenal, and we did, right? You didn't predict us against West Ham, and it could have gone either way. So in future, if you want to predict a Burnley win at any time, just please let us know. Yeah, it might actually play into our hands, mate.
Yeah, no, I'll predict a win against Chelsea, but we're going to come back to that if we do a preview, boys. I'm going to leave you with something. Yeah, I'm going to leave you with something that I'm because I've been playing at my stats in the background here. Did you realise that in the Premier League so far this season, Florentino is the 3rd highest tackling player in the Premier League? Just one that I bet none of us actually realise, because how many people are saying, "Oh, he's not been great, has he?" So,
who's saying that? I think he's been fantastic, to be honest with you.
So the top tackler in the Premier League is Spurs' Palhinha.
Oh, Palhinha.
Yeah, and then you've got Palace's Mitchell, but both of those guys have played a lot more minutes than Florentino. In fact, Florentino has played less minutes than the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
He said 6, 7.
9. So he's played less minutes than the top 9 players, and he's 3rd in the Premier League for tackles. So there's one to leave you. Stick with Florentino. Florentino we trust. All right.
Kids got me at training this morning. We're counting players.
I did it other day, to be fair. I was like, when you're getting like half fives and stuff, down below, up above, up in heaven, and then I move my hand away and go 6, 7. It's like, but then I get pissed off at myself for doing it. It's frustrating. But no, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Darcy as well, really do appreciate it. Like I say, you can go and grill your dad now. Go and give him a grilling. But Dan, you got to leave us with the fact that you've got Scott Parker against West Ham on your T-shirt.
Yeah, the Muppets. There you go, Kermit the Frog. Yeah, we were a bunch of Muppets, and we'll draw a line now.
He loved Ham as well, didn't he? Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for your input in the chat. Everybody in the chat as well, Mac and Kate and everybody, and yourself, Anthony, if you're still watching. Really do appreciate you all. if you're watching on catch up, let us know your thoughts on the game itself as well. And we're going to try and potentially do something in the week this week, just chatting, probably general football and just about what's going on in the world. Let's just put the world to rights, even if it's just a catch up and about general shit, and we just have a laugh and take the piss out of each other. It is what it is. But yeah, join us. We'll do something. And until then, let's just forget about it. We move on. It is what it is.
That's just Scott Parker, the boss.
Scott Parker, the boss. See, I like that. I like that. Nice little segue then. Love it. Love it. Thank you again to Joey and to Dan. Absolute legends. Anything you guys want to add before we wrap it up?
We're going to beat Chelsea.
Scoreline?
I remember that, because you should hopefully be seeing a fair bit more of it soon.
You will indeed. You will indeed. Won't be wearing this next time. But no, thank you very much. Take care, and we'll see you. See you when we see you. If I don't see you for a week, I'll see you for a window.
window.
All best.